Hello all, welcome back to the Hand Spinner Review Spot YouTube channel. You can click on the link in the description below to head to our Facebook page, or if you like what we're doing here, please give us a subscription if you haven't already. It really helps us out. So what are we looking at today? Well, as you can see, I've got quite a cluttered table in front of me. This is the VanPelt Tri-Spinner by VanPelt Innovations of the USA, and let's quickly get into that. I'll put this to one side, although I will come back to it. I don't normally do packaging, as you hopefully know, but I think that's probably worth a quick look. But let's have a look at some size comparisons before we do that. Right, okay, so there's obviously the VanPelt, and then you've got a stubby there, a tri-stubby I should say, albeit an exotic one, a Turnian by NTO Designs, oops, and everything's spinning, there we go. What we got here, a little tri-cocoon from Pos Blades, and we'll do a Crusader by Casfly try there, and then just for the sake of doing a couple of bar spinners, there we have a stubby, a dog hair, that's always good, isn't it? There we've got a compass, or a mini compass I should say, and just because I think it's quite pertinent in this review, let's stick this next to a classic Chinese bearing wrap, which, as you can see, bears something of an unusual resemblance for my table. Generally speaking, this dwarfs anything that I put next to it here, but to be honest, we'll come back to that. So there you go, there's your size comparisons. So what exactly is the VanPelt Tri-Spinner? Well, as you can see, it's quite a classic looking silhouette overall. You've got an aluminium body with quite a lot of interesting little bits of machining. As you can see here, you have these kind of cutaways that dip down slightly here. They've all got a chamfer around them. That's got a machine finish inside it. The rest of it seems to have sort of a more refined, polished finish. And this, as I say, is an aluminium body with these modular brass weights. As you can see, everything on here that's brass has built up a bit of a patina as I've tested this out prior to review. And then you've got the buttons here, which are nicely contoured and rounded. They have a little bit of knurling on the side, which I really like. I think that's a real plus to these. Nice little bit of attention to detail there. You have VanPelt USA, VanPelt Innovations USA engraved into the top of those. Say it's a dished design with a flat in the centre, and yeah, it's just really nicely done all round. So what is quite unique about this, I suppose, even after things like the Trillium, is that we've not seen a huge amount of modular spinners so far, and there are reasons for that, both from a production standpoint and from a usability standpoint, because they do bring with them some inherent difficulties, particularly in trying to get your performance and your tolerances right across all the different parts that you use. But VanPelt have been brave here and gone for that. And what's quite interesting is you unscrew these buttons, and you have a little brass collar in here. So what we're actually looking at, to say that this is an aluminium spinner, this actually isn't light even when you haven't got anything installed, because you have a relatively large body. As I say, this is not a small spinner by any means, and on top of that you have this brass insert here, and underneath here you have what I presume is a stainless steel bearing cage, because this was obviously originally bored out for a 608. So this is currently running an R188 hybrid ceramic, I believe it is, and it works very well. But as you can see, it would accept a 608. So all in all, you have got quite a lot of weight going on here, which brings me to that. So even if you've got this running just like this with no weights actually installed, you're still looking at a spinner which is 69 grams, which, to be honest, is pretty high. That's certainly not a light spinner by any means, and I guess given the fact that it's the size it is, that does make some sense. But even so, it's not light. And then when you install these buttons here, as you can see, they're just threaded construction. They go flush to the body. They're really nicely done, actually. You then end up at 106 grams for the lighter of the two weight sets, that's a hefty old spinner without any shadow of a doubt. So if you like heavy spinners, and particularly if you have slightly larger hands, this might be one to seriously start looking into. And then if I bring these guys in, along with the box, because I'll quickly show you the box as well, you then take the whole piece up to 123 grams if you run these heavier brass weights. So this is a substantial spinner in any format. Here you go with the box. I'm a bit out of order here, but such is life. It's the first review of the day, so what are you going to do? VanPelt, laser engraved onto the top. You can see it's a wooden box. There's no catches or anything. Would have been nice maybe to have a couple of little magnets in here so it had retention, but, you know, come on, this isn't a stupidly expensive spinner, and they're offering you quite a lot here. Open that up. As you can see, it's nicely routed out inside. You've got the spinner sits in the aperture there, and you've got your different apertures that take your 2 different sets of weights. Really nicely done. Get a little card as well. It's just really nice, and I had to show it because I thought that it really was kind of going above and beyond, and it's very cleanly made as well. Some of these more adventurous, or ambitious I should say, packaging ideas in the spinner world haven't always worked out that well, but this one really does. Nice work. You can see you've got all the details for the company laser engraved on the back as well with the American flag there. It's impressive. That's very, very good. Props, well, extra props to them for bothering to do that. So overall, that's kind of the overall layout of the spinner. As you can see, it's quite smoothly rounded, it's nicely made, all the machining's really clean, there's some nice detail work. Yeah, this is a nice looking spinner. And overall, if you have large hands, it functions very, very well. There's not much, we get onto the performance side of things, there's a tiny little bit of wobble maybe, but to be honest, I'm being quite picky there. Stability, generally speaking, is very good. It looks very pretty spinning because you have the reflective aluminium, depending on where you are in the world, and that's nice. For my hands, this is too large, and for my taste, it's probably a little bit too weighty in most configurations. I actually probably prefer using it without any weights in it at all, but that seems kind of a shame. So, I mean, for me, the biggest downside for this spinner is nothing to do with the design, although I don't necessarily find it the prettiest looking spinner in the world, but that's completely subjective, so, you know, make of that what you will. But my main issues with it really are the sheer size of it. For my hand size, and for my particular tastes, it is a little too large and a little too heavy in most configurations. But being more objective about it, it's very smooth. It's quite nice to flick backwards and forwards. Obviously, with the weights involved, it's certainly not a super fast, flicky, fidgety kind of spinner, but then it's not, you know what you're getting going into it, so that's not really a big deal. It's very comfortable. It's quite ergonomic. It would be even more ergonomic if you had larger hands because it would be less of a reach in certain positions. There's no sharp edges. So yeah, while it wouldn't win for me in a beauty contest or necessarily a pickup choice for my hand size and particular preferences, I don't really have an awful lot negative to say about this. It's nicely done. There's nothing wrong with it. The company have done a great job making it. It feels like a lot of care and attention went into it, and for that I give them absolute props. It also looks very pretty spinning, which is always something that I prefer. So there you go. That's a bit of an overview. I hope a relatively detailed review of the VanPelt Tri-Spinner. If you like it, go for it. There's nothing wrong with it, and if you know all of the details now, if that all lines up and there's nothing there in my negatives that line up with your negatives, pick one up. Very nice. Take care, guys. Catch you at the next video. Bye-bye.